So why does God demand order? Hi, I'm Reverend Andrew Bozeman, and this is On the Wings of Your Mind. And our subject today is, or at least the question is, why does God demand order? Now, I don't usually know what I'm going to talk about on this broadcast until the morning of the broadcast. I usually get a message telling me what the subject of the day is and when I wake up. And the message comes either in the form of an image or a whispering inside my head. This morning, as my mind was coming awake, I got a couple of images that were very, very interesting. The first image was a pile of wooden blocks, wooden children's blocks. And then next to that pile of wooden children's blocks, there came up a tower of blocks. Okay. And then the next image was a pile of bricks. And then next to that pile of bricks came a brick wall. So I had a pile of bricks, a pile of blocks, a tower of blocks, and a wall of bricks. So it dawned on me that it was probably going to have to talk about order. Of course, that's what eventually came through, was that I'm supposed to talk about order. So order is something that we have to pay a lot of attention to. That we don't pay a lot of attention to because it's not a big thing in our lives, so we think. But actually it is. It's a very big thing in our lives. I remember when I was a child, I used to hate order. I used to hate that my mother made me do things like pick my clothes up off the floor, or scrape the dishes after dinner and wash them, or make up my bed. All those little things that really were irritating to me because I had other more important things to do, like go out and play, or finish reading that fascinating science fiction book, or do something I would rather do, like maybe watch a television program that would never, ever, ever be shown again. It had to be seen at that time. Of course, that was when we had only 3 channels, and VCRs or digital recorders had not been invented yet. But still, those were my priorities. So order was a problem for me as a child. But then, and I remember being a child and thinking, when I grow up, I am not going to have to do all these things that they're making me do. I'm not going to have to make up my bed. I'm not going to have to clean up my room. I'm going to be free to do what I want to do. Of course, by the time I'd grown up, it was too late, because by the time I'd grown up, all those things were ingrained in my system. I was conditioned to accept order, as it were. So it didn't really make any sense for me to grow up believing that that I was going to change things. Please click on the thumbs up button. If you haven't already done so, please choose to subscribe. Remember, I'd love to get your comments, thoughts, and questions. And so there is a chat box on the right side of the screen. The thumbs up button is below the screen, by the way. The chat box is only available during the live broadcast. If you're watching this in the live broadcast, you can see the chat box on the right. Otherwise, if you're watching it in replay, then you can choose to place your comments in the comment section below the video. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. So anyway, back to what I was saying here. As a child, I was very opposed to order. It kept me getting in the way of the things I wanted to do, playing, watching TV, reading a book, etc. And promising myself that when I grew up, I wouldn't have to do those things. Of course, when I grew up, as I said, the conditioning was already set in. And scraping the dishes after a meal only made sense. Then you wouldn't have that dried in, caked up food waiting for you the next day. Making up the bed made sense. Picking your clothes up off the floor made sense because then they could get washed instead of laying there and smelling up the room. So the order that I was forced into as a child began to make sense, began to make sense to me. And I was reminded when I grew up that there was this passage in Corinthians that dealt with that issue that said, when I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. That's growing up for you, folks. I put away childish things. So, order. Order looks different to different people. But order is a necessary part of our lives because it affects everything in my life, in our lives. Now, one person may see order as organized and neat, whereas another person may see order as something that appears to be chaotic and disorganized, but actually isn't. Each has its own way of addressing order. You know, if you were to see my office today or ever, you would see a chaotic and disorganized mess. At least that's what it looks like. But actually, you'd be wrong. It is organized to fit the way my mind works. So if I need to find something in those stacks of paper that look so disorganized, my mind, which did the filing, knows which stack to go to find what I'm looking for. That's just my system. So order in one form or another is an integral part of our lives. It is there. It is there. You know, our bodies perform billions of functions per second in coordinated order. Our automobiles run in order. The pistons, the timing chain. Our music is built on orderly rhythms. We're surrounded by order. We can't get away from it, except we often do when it comes to spiritual practices. In the world of spirit, order is even more critical than it is in the physical world, believe it or not. It's more critical because in the realm of spirit, infinite intelligence is more reactive. Infinite intelligence is more responsive to our thoughts and our words because they have power. Every thought and every word. Let me repeat that. In the realm of spirit, every thought, every word has power. In the realm of spirit, your thoughts and words have power in every thought and every word. Now, some people upon hearing that will say, well, if that's true, why isn't my life better? I can understand you saying that. Why isn't my life better if my words have so much power? Well, think about it this way. How many of us have thought about what it would be like to be a millionaire or to win the lottery, you know, and the things we do? And then, no more than a few seconds later, we say, you know, that would never happen. That would never happen. So what happened? Every thought has power. In the realm of spirit, every thought, every word has power. So every time you have a thought about becoming a millionaire, there was another thought immediately following that said, that can never happen. So the first thought was canceled. It's gone. Or for every thought that predicted, today is going to be a wonderful day. And another thought immediately said, oh, I hope I don't have to deal with that so-and-so today. Again, a cancellation. The first thought was wiped out by the second thought. So I'll say it again. in the realm of spirit, your thoughts and your words have power. Every thought and every word. Every thought and every word. Most of our minds are like those piles of bricks and blocks. They're a chaotic collection of commands that are packed together and going nowhere because they keep bouncing off of each other. Now remember the electric light bulb. We turn on a light in a dark room, and immediately it's flooded with light because the light rays go in every direction to illuminate the room. But beyond illuminating the room, that light bulb, that light has no power. But when you turn on a laser beam, it's also generating light. But this light is focused. It's called coherent light because all the light rays are going in one single direction and tightly focused into a powerful single beam. That beam can cut through steel. That beam can carry 1,000,000 telephone conversations. That beam can adjust the cornea of your eye to improve your vision. That beam is powerful. That beam is coherent. And coherent is defined as having the quality of holding together. So as we work here to become spiritual warriors, we have to learn to bring our minds into order, into a state of coherence. That way, one thought is not canceled out by another thought that follows it. Our thoughts are not bouncing off each other, canceling each other out. When we seek to build a field of love around us, because our electromagnetic field generates what's going through our heart, well, if we seek to build that field of love that's going to bring the power of love into our lives as well as into the lives of those who are around us because they're being affected by our field, our surrounding field, then that love cannot be distracted and diminished by flashes of frustration, of the gossip going around about the latest stupid thing that Susan let John get away with. No, we have to be clear. We have to be coherent in our thought. Bringing order to our thoughts as we build our spiritual practices begins to bring power to those thoughts. I mean real power, because the thoughts, as they become more and more coherent, are not being diffused by interfering emotions, are not being diffused by distractions, by shiny things flashing before us. Bringing order to our emotions as we send out the energy of love from our hearts can have a real healing effect for those around us instead of creating an atmosphere of confusion and mixed messages. So as spiritual warriors, we need to take the time and the attention to actually get to know ourselves. Know thyself. Know thyself. Put away those childish tendencies that keep your attention shifting from one shiny object to the next. Learn to know yourself. Learn to know how your mind works. Learn what is important to you. Learn why is it important to you. Learn what you want, where you want to go, what you want to do. Learn the answers to those questions, because by learning the answer to those questions, you begin to build a foundation or an anchor for yourself. And once you have that anchor, then you won't be distracted by every attractive scenario that comes your way. Instead, you can look at that scenario, you can look at that situation, you can look at that thing and determine if it fits in with where you are going. And if it doesn't, then let it pass. If it doesn't fit, let it go. But if it does fit, then you can begin to explore it for its value to you. Getting to know yourself gives you the strength to bring order into your life and into your mind so that your thoughts and your emotions become coherent and possible. And powerful and possible. Yeah, coherent and possible. Then you can elevate yourself. You can elevate yourself to a level of consciousness that may have seemed impossible to you before, but that's because you did not have the order. You did not have the discipline to be clear and focused and know where you were going because you did not know yourself. So how? How do you do it? How do you create that anchor that's going to keep you from continually being distracted by the next shiny object? How do you do that? How do you know thyself and be strong in that knowledge? Good question. Let's talk about it tomorrow. In the meantime, let's close with prayer. Thank you, infinite intelligence. Thank you for bringing all of us together in this life so that we may become spiritual warriors and join in the work we have come here to do. Thank you, infinite intelligence, for bringing us into this space of awareness and a deeper understanding of ourselves and our relationship to life and infinite intelligence. Thank you for showing us who we really are. We open our minds and hearts to the truth of our being. We are the children of God. We are individualized expressions of infinite intelligence. And because we are part of the greater whole, we're beginning to understand our value to the continuity of life on this planet. As we become channels of your power, infinite intelligence, we can feel your presence within ourselves and within our lives more and more. And we know that as we feel your presence within our lives every day, we will rise because we are no longer cut off from you by being immersed in the darkness of fear, anger, and the pain of unforgiveness. So we are now restoring our connection through the grace of forgiveness, knowing that as we learn to forgive ourselves for the pain we have caused to ourselves, and as we learn to forgive those who have inflicted pain upon us, our connections will grow stronger, and our lives will grow happier and healthier and more prosperous. And for this, we are truly grateful. As above, so below. As within, so without. And so it is. Amen. So thank you. Thank you for watching, spending some time with me. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Remember to click on the thumbs up button that is below the video. If you haven't already done so, please choose to subscribe, which is on the right corner. If you click on the logo, that will allow you to subscribe. And if you have any questions, thoughts, or comments, please put them in the comment section below. I look forward to seeing those. So, remember that I am Reverend Andrew Bozeman. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And this has been On the Wings of Your Mind.